Welcome to another backtesting session. This is backtesting session number 2. This will be a little bit different. This will not be the continuation model. This will be a model that has been developed by someone already. I will not be saying his name, but this is also just a general ICT-based model that contains three criteria. Those three criteria are bullish and bearish fair value gap on a higher time frame, SMT divergence between either NQ and ES, if one of them makes a higher, higher, lower, low, while the other does not, anticipating a potential reversal, and confirming a CISD or market structure shift, MSB. So let's get on to it here and let's see what we can find. So right here we are Friday, January 10th at lunch. So let's see what we can find here. We failed to sweep New York AM lows, so that's something to look at for potential longs. So we're going to go to a lower time frame here. We have this fair value gap right here. So it seems to me we're playing respectfully of that fair value gap. So let's place a trade here. Now, realistically, it would have been nice, obviously, in real time to have been placed off of when we finish above it. So, specifically, probably that candle would have been a better entry. But I'm going to be doing 2 to 1. Buy here, stop loss set here, take profit right here. So let's see how this plays out. Perfect. That was actually perfect. Okay. So that's 1-0. Great trade overall, right? We had that SMT on ES, right? SMT on ES. We did actually also have this bearish fair value gap that we did inverse. So that's also another confluence I didn't even realize we took. So overall, great trade. We're just going to fast forward. This is New York PM here. So it seems that ES made a lower high. Let's see how we play off of this fair value gap. Looks to me that we have rejected it. Okay. We rejected off this fair value gap twice, so that gives me a bearish mindset. I could be entering this trade though, only because it is PM on a Friday, but I would be curious to see how it would play out if I were to be in a trade. Again, not taking this because it's a Friday PM, not a session I like to trade. We're already 1 up on the day. So it looks like we would have gone stopped out there. Yeah, I mean, again, obviously not taking it, obviously because of conditions like that. Let's see what else we can find here. We're going to fast forward to okay. Let's see here. This could be a nice sell play. We inverse this. Fair value gap. This one won't be a 2-to-1. This one, honestly, I'm going to keep it a 2-to-1, but a nice target would have been, if I wanted to risk more, would have been to target London lows. But looking at this right here, looking at ES at this time, let's see what happens here. So we're going to sell. We're actually going to risk a little bit less here. We'll risk only one NQ card or 10 micros. And again, money really here doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to obviously continue and understand how this model works. I'm more worried about the risk to reward in the aspect of this. So actually, it's not a 2-to-1. Can't get it exactly, but so right here, I would split my risk in half, and I would trail 5 cons. Stop. This is not trail. Stop loss to break even, especially a risk-free trade. And so either way, hit full take profit, right? Regardless if I scaled or not, we did hit full take profit. Can't even choose. So this is the original play right here. Even if I didn't scale, still a good trade. Again, confluence is for this trade. We had an ES SMT, bearish SMT, inverse this 5-minute fair value gap. We sold on our entry, so that was perfect. And it's only 9:35, and we already had a winning trade, which is always a really, really good feeling. Always really good feeling. New York is just pumping here. Do have this fair value gap right here. It's around 11 o'clock here. We do have 2 bullish fair value gaps. Looks like we've inversed this one. So honestly, not that bad of a sell here would be something like this. I'm not going to enter though, only because we're up on the day, and I'll be getting to the trading rules of this specific model that I'll be implementing, and I'll be trading going forward. But 1 trade a day, 1 win, 1 loss, regardless of what. That's all you need. Lock your account or get off the charts or whatever. But this will be, I guess, just a forward test if this was live market. But in this case, let's say we do like the sell. We did reject off the 5-minute. We are fairly bearish, targeting London lows. I'd only be risking way less. But again, this trade wouldn't happen regardless. Either way, stopped out there. Again, 1 trade a day. The rest of this is just understanding, just getting to know like what part of the days that this model works best with. And so far we've taken 2 trades, and both of those trades have happened before 1 o'clock. So I think that's something that's important to take into consideration. This one was in pre-AM. This one was during lunch hour. So I think it's important to understand when to be taking these trades. Did have a bullish SMT here. Excuse me. This would have been bullish SMT on ES would have been. So going back to the 1 minute here. This is an unfilled bearish right here. See how we play off of that. Looking to finish above. which we did. This would be honestly a pretty nice long right here. Right, extremely bullish market conditions. Looking for a 2-to-1 here. Something like this. I'm not going to place any trade again. We're done for the day. This is just a forward test. Doesn't seem like a bad trade. And well, fortunately there, forward test did not work. I mean, eventually it did work. It seems to me that this was an invalid fair value gap for us to look at, and more of this as a fair value gap. So instead of doing that, what we could have done was waited for us to retest this fair value gap right here. All right, go on the 1 minute. Realize how we play off of this. So this potentially would have been a better trade to take. Waiting for that 5 minute. Hitting this 2-to-1 right here. Probably have been a way better look. So that's just a personal note to take for myself. Understanding when what 5 minute or what 15 minute or what 1 minute fair value gaps are significant to look at or useful to look at, which ones are not. And so in this case, this fair value gap right here on the 1 minute, which was right here, was a better look as we respected it. We inversed it. So that's also a really great trade there. Model worked out perfectly. We had that bullish SMT on ES. Marked out over here. Now, this trade could have been taken way earlier from what I see. Specifically right here when we inversed, we could have gone something like this. Nice 2-to-1 like that. But either way, we still got it only because we were extremely bullish, looking to target this liquidity, which was New York AM highs, and potentially looks like we're going to be sweeping London highs in this situation. So we're going to play the rest of the day out. So we do have a bullish on ES and YM. So let's see how we play. Again, on a funded or an eval, I would be done for the day. Accounts locked. It's all forward testing. It seems to me that PM session here seems to be dealing with two SMTs. This one specifically on YM, which we are not going to be using. But either way, seems to me like this did play out, but I could not find a single execution that would work here. Maybe off of this fair value gap, could have taken this. But regardless, didn't take it. Choppy price conditions, such as these, are not even worth looking at, not even worth stressing over on the markets. And so because this model works specifically for 2-to-1, one trade a day, you could just be done with your day simply after a 5-minute trade. Avoid risking any mentality things. So let's see here. Monday's over as a day. We do have a gap right here. Asia ended up filling. Okay. Bullish for value gap on YM1. Obviously, we're not going to use that because we are looking for ES or NQ. This fair value gap was inverse. That doesn't look like a bad play right there. So this fair value gap right here. New York seems to be kind of bearish, but at the same time struggling, but pushing enough volume to the downside that we're continuing to make lower lows. Lunch hour over here. We have this fair value gap. Oh, bullish SMT for YM. This actually doesn't look like that bad of a trade here. The only concern here would be that we're bouncing between two fair value gaps. So let's switch to the 1 minute here. We do have the 5 minute marked out here in the red. Let's also get, let's see here. Okay, so we did finish above. So this actually won't be that bad of a trade to take. 2 to 1. No, did not mean to do that. Excuse me. Jeez. My goodness. Silly me. Doesn't seem like a bad setup here. This would be a B plus setup. But let's see how we play this. This is also a 1.76, not a 2. This is better. So let's see how we play out here. So at this point, stop loss to break even. Sell 5. This becomes a risk-free trade. I'm going to let the rest of the trade play out here. Do have a session open. But regardless, doesn't really matter. We had full take profit. Another great trade there. So let's see. At this point, again, we'd be done with the day. And this, again, seems to be working between the time block of, let's see what we can find. Where was the last trade we took over here? This was during, okay. So this trade usually works best between 9 o'clock a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So this will be the time sector that we look for specifically. This is the time where we've seen repeated moves, and typically in general price action is better on days like these. Well, of course, alluding to the fact that we don't have any news or whatever, just based off of what we know so far. This is probably the best time you're going to be finding a trade like this. PM and London seems to be moving great, but Asia, PM, and London are sessions that are pretty high chance of consolidating and stop hunting. And so there's no reason for us to trade those sessions if AM or right after lunch is working. So that'll be the end of this video. I'm going to be posting a continued version where we continue off of this backtesting session. I'll see you guys in the next video.